All right, Ken Gray is standing by, former FBI agent, nowadays a lecturer at the University of New Haven in Connecticut. Good to see you as always, Ken. Your thoughts on what we're seeing here? Does it make sense or not? People saying it's an abuse of power by the president. Others saying, look, people are rioting. Something has to be done. What's your take?
Hi, Todd. Good to be with you again. So this may be the new normal because President Trump plans to have ICE continue their operations around the country. And if this is the pushback that we're seeing there in some of the major blue cities across the country, then they're going to be experiencing riots on a regular basis because ICE plans to continue doing their deportation operations not only in LA, but throughout the country.
Right. And just for Canadians, ICE, of course, is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, getting a lot of attention as a result, obviously, of the president's re-election, Ken. And he was pretty clear when he was campaigning what he intended to do. And so he is trying to do it. We are also following what's happening in other cities. You're familiar, Chicago, New York, San Antonio, Seattle, Minneapolis, where there are other protests, much smaller, few arrests here and there, not the same thing as we're seeing in Los Angeles. But as Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, continues to make these raids and continues to deport people, do you think that we will see more and more of this? You're saying it's kind of like the new normal. How far do you think the White House might be willing to go, Ken?
So I think the intention of the president is to push this to its max. That is, they will continue operations. So far, they have been targeting those that are criminal elements that have been identified within the illegal alien community here in the U.S. But at some point, they will start moving over to others. So it's not only the criminal element, it's also the recently arrived illegal aliens that are being deported also. But at some point, when they exhaust those, they will start moving out into other communities, deporting other people who are here illegally, but not necessarily have a criminal record. So if they intend to push it down to that level, then, as I say, this may be the new normal.
What do you make of the president using the term, Ken, insurrectionist? Somebody who's trying to create an insurrection in the United States versus, let's say, protester or, whatever other term, rioter, whatever other term you want to use. I mean, language can be important in terms of how things are framed. What's your take on that?
So we have an Insurrection Act here in the United States. And what the Insurrection Act says is that in the event that there is an insurrection, the president can use the military in a law enforcement basis. Normally under posse comitatus, you cannot use the National Guard, you cannot use the military to do arrests. But under the Insurrection Act, you're able to do so. So as you say, what is used for words really matter, and the use of the phrase insurrection may fall into that category. But the other thing is that the question is, are these organic protests, or is this something that is being planned and spread around the country? And there appears to be somewhat of a coordination going on in some of these other cities, that the original riot there that broke out from the arrests on last Friday in LA may be organic, but some of these other ones may be the actions of groups, far left groups, to try to spread insurrection around the country through these type of protests.
Hey, before we go, just your read on, comments from the U.S. military saying that troops would be allowed to temporarily, detain individuals. Does that worry you?
No, it does not, because they are in positions to protect federal buildings. If somebody is attacking, or federal agents, and if somebody is attacking either agents or the federal buildings, and the National Guard is there to protect those buildings, they have to be able to hold that person that is attacking it long enough to turn them over to law enforcement for an arrest. And so that's why they're saying temporary detention is temporary detention until law enforcement can make the arrest.
Hey, Ken, it's always great to see you. Really appreciate your knowledge and all the insights, as always.
Anytime.
Yeah, Ken Gray is a former FBI agent, nowadays a lecturer at the University of New Haven in Connecticut, with his take.